Someone asks what you're doing for your birthday. You pause for half a second longer than people expect. Nothing really. Watch their face. It flickers, not dramatic, just enough. Like you broke a rule nobody explained out loud. The room shifts. Because we've built this quiet agreement, birthdays aren't just dates anymore. They're signals, proof that your life is working, proof you're connected, celebrated, emotionally fine. And when you don't perform that, it doesn't read as neutral. It reads as wrong. But here's the part nobody says. Low excitement isn't damage. It's mismatch. Think about how birthdays actually work now. They're not private, not even close. They're staged. You've got the office any plans, the group chat spam, the family expectation, the cake photo, the candles, the smile that has to look just spontaneous enough. It's a script, not metaphorically, literally. And when your reaction doesn't match the script, people don't question the script, they question you. Are you okay? Why so low energy? Don't you care? But maybe you're not the one off. Maybe the ritual stopped meaning anything. I've seen this over and over. People who aren't cold, not ungrateful, not broken. They just hit a point where forcing meaning on command starts to feel fake, like clapping at a joke that isn't funny anymore. And you feel it in your body, that slight resistance, that quiet, I don't want to do this performance today. That's not emptiness, that's awareness. Here's what's actually happening. Every year, there's a gap between what the day is supposed to feel like and what it actually feels like. At first, you close that gap with effort. You go out, you post, you smile, but the gap doesn't disappear. It stacks year after year until one day, you stop trying to bridge it. And suddenly, just another day isn't sadness, it's relief. So this isn't about losing meaning, it's about refusing to fake it. And that's where people get confused, because from the outside, peace and withdrawal look identical. Quiet, low energy, no performance. But they're not the same thing. One is numb, the other is clean. And if you don't know the difference, you'll misread yourself, or worse, let other people misread you. Because once a ritual starts feeling heavier than the emotion it was supposed to celebrate, you're not asking, what should I do for my birthday? You're asking something way more uncomfortable. Why was I doing it like that in the first place?
Most people think a birthday is personal. It's not. Not anymore. It's one of the most standardized rituals left. Same timing, same reactions, same emotional script recycled billions of times. For one day, you're not just a person, you're a symbol. Gratitude, warmth, nostalgia, on cue. Miss the cue, and it gets weird. This is exactly what Irving Goffman was talking about. Social life isn't just lived, it's performed, constantly. And birthdays? They're almost too perfect. There's a script, a schedule, even a correct emotional tone. You smile here, you react there, you act surprised, even if you saw it coming 3 days ago. And once something becomes that scripted, authenticity has to fight for space. Here's where it breaks. Someone says, I don't really care about my birthday. Sounds simple, right? It's not. People don't hear preference, they hear deviation. Not because the statement is extreme, but because rituals train people to treat low participation like a glitch in the system, like something's off. And modern culture, it makes this worse, way worse. Because now it's not enough to feel something, you have to show it. Platforms reward visibility, energy, belonging. A quiet dinner? Invisible. A decorated room, a surprise party, a cake with perfect lighting, that spreads. So meaning gets distorted. It stops being about what you felt and starts being about what you displayed. Anthropologists figured this out a long time ago. Rituals don't just celebrate emotion, They organize it. They tell you when to show up, what to say, how to act, what mood is acceptable. So the birthday stops being a memory. It becomes a spotlight. And once it hits you, you're expected to perform something everyone already understands. No explanation needed. You see the pressure in small moments. The office brings a cake for someone who clearly hates attention. Everyone laughs a little too loud. The family insists on photos, even when the room feels flat. Your phone lights up with messages from people who haven't spoken to you all year, and suddenly, what was supposed to feel intimate feels like a play. Bad lighting, forced smiles, everyone hitting their marks. Social psychology splits this cleanly. There's what you feel, and there's what you're supposed to feel. Those are not the same thing. And that gap, it matters more than people think. Because when that gap repeats, year after year, you don't become colder, you become precise. You start noticing the distance between the emotion you actually have and the one you're expected to perform. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The ritual still looks correct from the outside. Same smiles, same cake, same photos. But underneath, it fits wrong. Like wearing someone else's jacket that technically looks fine, but pulls at the shoulders every time you move. And here's the blind spot. Society looks at the person who doesn't light up and assumes that's the problem. But sometimes, the real issue is the script. Over-rehearsed, over-polished, so tight, there's no space left for anything real.
At some point, the question flips. It's not, why did the feeling disappear? It's, what replaced it? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the time, nothing is missing. Something sharper moved in, quieter, more selective, less dependent on everyone else clapping at the same moment. This isn't random. Edward Decky and Richard Ryan mapped this out years ago. There's a shift that happens. At first, your emotions are triggered externally. Dates, events, social cues. You feel something because you're supposed to. But over time, that flips. Meaning stops being scheduled. It becomes internal. Less about, it's my birthday, more about, does this actually align with me? And birthdays, they're built for the old system. External, preloaded, socially enforced. Now drop that into modern life. Constant exposure, everyone posting, everyone comparing, everything being quietly judged. It's not neutral, it's exhausting. Researchers call it evaluation fatigue. Your brain gets flooded with signals about what matters, what counts, what should feel big. So it adapts, not by breaking, by turning the volume down. That flat feeling, it's not rejection, it's protection. Like your nervous system saying, I'm not doing this again at full intensity. And this is where people split. Some interpret that silence as disconnection, like something inside them shut off. But others experience something very different. Filtration. Not everything gets to matter anymore. Only what passes a higher threshold. There's a term for this. Ritual saturation. Same symbolic act, repeated, 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 until it loses charge. Not because it's meaningless in theory, but because you've seen the pattern too many times. Predictable input, predictable output, and your brain checks out. Now add algorithms to that. Reminders, notifications, auto-generated celebrations. Wish them a happy birthday. Post your memory. Celebrate this moment. It never stops. So saturation hits faster. The ritual stays. The feeling becomes optional. So when your birthday shows up and nothing rises with it, that's not automatically absence. It might be something more precise. A system that stopped assigning meaning for you. A shift from collective scripts to selective significance. And this is where most people completely misread it. They see the silence and assume something's broken. But silence isn't always emptiness. Sometimes it's space, real space, where you're not reacting on cue anymore, not performing, not filling the moment just because it's expected. Because the real shift isn't that you stopped caring about your birthday. It's that you stopped needing a date to prove your life